Hong Kong, Wing Chun Martial Arts Academy, August 17, 1964. Tuesday, 3:30 p.m. The heat is suffocating. The tropical humidity turns the air into something almost solid. Bruce Lee is 23 years old. He is in the center of the training hall, surrounded by 40 of his students. Sweat runs down his face. He is demonstrating a Chisao technique, sticky hands, the fundamental Wing Chun exercise where two practitioners maintain constant contact while testing reflexes and tactile sensitivity. His students watch in reverent silence. Bruce is not just another instructor. He is the prodigy, the son of one of Hong Kong's most respected masters, the man who by age 18 had already mastered 5 different styles, the man who questions everything, who challenges millennia-old traditions, who asserts that martial arts should not be rigid but fluid like water. The academy door bursts open violently. The sound echoes through the hall. All eyes turn. 3 men enter. The first is Western, tall, muscular, skin tanned by the tropical sun. Black training pants, tight white t-shirt showing defined muscles. He is 6'5", tall, and weighs 231 pounds of pure muscle mass. His name is Frank Mitchell, world champion in Kyokushin-style karate, 3-time winner of the All Japan tournament. A fighter who broke wooden boards with his bare hands, who knocked out opponents with a single kick, who built a brutal reputation in Asia's combat circuits. Behind him come 2 of his students, Japanese, both black belts, both walking with the rigid and disciplined posture of traditional karate. Frank stops in the center of the hall. He looks around with thinly veiled disdain. His eyes settle on Bruce. "Are you Bruce Lee?" His voice is loud, made to intimidate. It carries the drawling southern United States accent. Bruce turns slowly. He wipes the sweat from his face with a towel. "That's me. Can I help you?" Bruce's voice is calm, controlled, but there is something in it that makes the entire hall tense. Frank takes 2 steps forward. His students spread out, flanking him like guards. "I've heard a lot about you. I've heard you're saying that Wing Chun is superior to karate, that Chinese martial arts are more effective than Japanese ones, that you're some kind of revolutionary." Bruce does not respond immediately. He folds the towel carefully and sets it aside. His movements are deliberate, precise. "I never said Wing Chun is superior. I said rigid styles have limitations. That fighting within rigid rules makes you predictable. That true mastery comes from adapting, not from following fixed forms." Frank laughs. It's a loud, mocking laugh. Philosophy, pretty words. But in the ring, in real fighting, philosophy means nothing. Strength means something. Speed means something. Power means something. You Chinese stand around doing your slow Tai Chi movements, pretending you're discovering ancient wisdom. Meanwhile, we Japanese train for real war. Kyokushin isn't dance. It's real combat. Full contact. No protection. Real blood. I came here because I'm tired of hearing your name. Bruce Lee this, Bruce Lee that. The prodigy boy who's going to revolutionize martial arts. Nonsense. You don't belong here. You don't belong in the world of real fighters. You're an instructor, a philosopher, a dancer, not a warrior. The silence that follows is absolute. 40 students are frozen. They've seen insults before, seen challenges, but never with this intensity. Never from a world champion. Never in front of their master. Bruce shows no anger. His expression remains neutral. He takes a step forward. "You came to my academy, interrupted my class, insulted my style and challenged me in front of my students. Tell me, Frank Mitchell, world karate champion, what exactly do you want?" Frank smiles. It's a predatory smile. "I want you to prove it. Prove you're not just talk. Prove that this philosophical Wing Chun works against a real fighter. Attack me. Hit me if you can. 1 strike. If you manage to land a clean hit on me, I'll leave here, apologize publicly, and admit I was wrong. But when you fail, and you will fail, you close this academy. You stop teaching. You admit you're a fraud." Bruce's students begin to murmur. This is absurd. Frank has 66 pounds on him. He's a tournament fighter, conditioned for full contact combat. He's trained against the best in the world. Bruce is brilliant, but this is suicide. One of the senior students, a man in his 40s who has trained with Bruce for 5 years, steps forward. "Master Lee, you don't have to accept this. This man came here to provoke. Don't dignify it with a response." Bruce raises his hand gently. "It's all right." He looks directly at Frank. "Are you prepared for what you're asking?" Frank laughs again. I'm prepared to prove my point. You don't belong in the ring with me. Bruce nods slowly. Very well, but not here, not in my academy. There's a park 2 blocks from here. Open space, neutral witnesses. We'll go there now. You'll have your demonstration. Frank agrees. 15 minutes later, 40 of Bruce's students, 3 of Frank's, and at least 20 curious passers-by form an irregular circle in Victoria Park. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Families picnic in the shade. Children play near a lake. But now all eyes are on the circle formed on the central lawn. Frank removes his t-shirt. His physique is intimidating. Defined muscles, scars from previous fights crossing his ribs. He assumes the Kyokushin karate stance. Legs apart, knees bent, hands in high guard position. His base is solid as rock. His gaze is focused. This is a man who has spent tens of thousands of hours training for this exact moment. Bruce removes nothing. He simply stands, arms relaxed at his sides. No formal stance, no visible tension. He seems almost casual. Spectators unfamiliar with martial arts think he is unprepared. Those who know recognize that this is something different. This is absolute confidence. Frank speaks loudly to the crowd. Simple rules. He attacks me once. Any technique he wants. If he lands clean, I admit defeat. If he fails, he admits he's a fraud. Everyone here is a witness. Bruce, do you have anything to say before we start? Bruce responds in a low but clear voice. Martial arts are not about belonging or not belonging, not about superior or inferior styles. They are about understanding principles, physics, body mechanics, economy of movement. You trained your body to be strong, fast, resilient. But you trained within rules, within forms, within expectations. I trained to have no form, to be like water. You will see the difference now. Frank scoffs. Water. Let's see if water can hit me. The crowd falls silent. Bruce takes a small step forward. Now he is 4.5 feet from Frank. Striking distance. Frank keeps his guard high, muscles tense, ready to block or counter. His years of training take over. He is calculating angles, anticipating punches, kicks, known techniques. He has fought hundreds of opponents. He knows all common attacks. He is prepared. Bruce does not move for 3 full seconds. 3 seconds where nothing happens except breathing. The crowd grows restless. What is he waiting for? Why doesn't he attack? Frank starts to smile again. Are you scared? Did you realize this was a mistake? Bruce, still unmoving, speaks softly. I am observing, seeing how you breathe, how you distribute weight, where you hold tension. Every body tells a story. Yours is telling me everything I need to know. Then Bruce moves, but it's not a movement Frank recognizes. Not a straight punch, not a circular kick. It's something that seems impossible. In a fraction of a second, so fast that half the crowd barely registers the motion, Bruce's hand shoots forward. Not in a straight line like a boxing punch, not in an arc like a karate strike. It's an undulating movement, a trajectory that starts low and rises in a spiral. Bruce's fingers are extended, not in a closed fist. His hand passes through Frank's guard as if it didn't exist, not because Frank is slow, but because the trajectory doesn't match any attack he was trained to block. The tips of Bruce's fingers touch Frank's neck, not with brutal force, but with surgical precision, exactly at the point where the carotid artery meets the jaw. A touch of pressure, specific, controlled, calculated. Frank freezes. His eyes widen. He wasn't knocked out. He wasn't floored. But something happened. Bruce's touch momentarily interrupted the blood flow to his brain, a pressure point technique that most Western fighters don't even know exists. For 2 seconds, Frank feels his legs weaken. His vision blurs at the edges. It's not pain. It's complete disorientation. His body is receiving conflicting signals. He staggers back 1 step. His hands drop slightly. The crowd is in absolute shock. What did we just see? Was that an attack? It looked more like a touch, but Frank, the world champion, is clearly affected. Bruce steps back. His hand returns to the relaxed position at his side. He is not celebrating, not gloating. He simply speaks. I could have continued. Could have followed with a second strike while you were disoriented. Could have finished it. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is to show there are techniques beyond what you know, principles beyond what your style teaches. You are a magnificent fighter, Frank Mitchell, but you fight inside a box. I fight outside it. Frank regains his balance. His pride is hurt more than his body. He looks at Bruce with a mix of anger and, for the first time, reluctant respect. What did you do? That's not a real strike. That's a trick. Nerve pressure point. It wouldn't work in a real fight. Bruce shakes his head. It worked now. On you. A world champion. In front of witnesses. If this were a real fight, you'd be unconscious now. But it wasn't a real fight. It was a demonstration. You asked me to prove I'm not a fraud. I proved it. Now you have a choice. Hold on to your pride and keep denying. Or open your mind and learn that there's more to martial arts than tournaments and trophies. Frank is silent for a long moment. The crowd waits. His two students look at him, expecting him to react with anger, to challenge again. But Frank surprises everyone. He bows. Not deeply, not in submission, but with the respect of one warrior recognizing another. You taught me something today. I came here to prove you didn't belong. You proved that maybe I don't belong in the same conversation as you. He turns to his students. Let's go. And to Bruce, one last time. If you ever want to train together, no egos, just learning. I'd like that. Bruce nods. The offer is always open. Frank and his students leave. The crowd gradually disperses, murmuring among themselves, debating what they saw. Bruce's students surround him, asking quick and excited questions. What was that technique? How did you know it would work? Why didn't you use a more obvious strike? Bruce raises his hand to silence them. I used the strike the situation demanded. Frank expected power, expected speed in the traditional sense. I gave him the unexpected. That's the lesson. Don't fight the way your opponents expect. Don't be predictable. Be water. Adapt. Find the path of least resistance but greatest effectiveness. As they walk back to the academy, one of the younger students, a 16-year-old teenager, asks, Master Lee, do you think he'll really come back to train? Bruce smiles for the first time since Frank entered his academy hours ago. I don't know. But I offered the opportunity. That's all I can do. The rest is up to him. This story will spread through Hong Kong in the coming weeks. It will be told and retold. Some will say Bruce knocked out a world champion with a touch. Others will say it was exaggerated, that Frank faked it. But those who were there, the 60 people who witnessed it, will know the truth. They saw a 132-pound man face a 231-pound champion and prove that martial arts are not about size or strength. They are about knowledge, about precision, about understanding the human body so deeply that you can shut it down with a calculated touch in the right place. Frank Mitchell will never return to train with Bruce Lee, but he will change his approach to karate. He will begin studying pressure points, question some of the rigid forms he learned, and years later, when people ask about his greatest fights, he will mention an afternoon in Hong Kong where he learned that being a world champion doesn't mean knowing everything about combat. Bruce Lee will continue teaching, continue evolving, continue challenging traditions until he creates his own system. Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist, a fighting philosophy with no fixed form. And whenever someone asks how he developed these ideas, he will remember afternoons like this, where he had to prove he belonged not through force, but through understanding. 5 seconds. That's all it took. 5 seconds to change a champion's mind. To prove that revolutionaries don't need to shout. They just need to demonstrate.